welcome back to another pod of
Yes, sir.
Sideline and Punchlines, the NBA section. We're going to kick it off over there in Milwaukee. Obviously, there's been breaking news. Giannis went directly there and actually confirmed he wants to get out of Milwaukee.
Mhm.
But there's been complications. Teams have enough assets, but because he's requested out, Milwaukee wants more. Do you think he's going to get traded before the deadline, or do you think they're going to wait till next year when he's on his last year?
Um, I think he's gonna get traded just because the sole fact, like, there's been so much drama. If he didn't, people would be pissed. I think, and so like,
People
I
as
think
in?
like people as in the fans, people as in Giannis, everybody, like people as in the front office for Milwaukee, because like I mean, it's just been like, bro, that pot is boiling and like it's hitting the stovetop. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's boiling over. So I just think from that standpoint, like, hey, let's get this done. Giannis deserves it. I like the city of Milwaukee can be mad, but I mean, this happens with superstars. It's not like a lot of superstars stay home. They're 20 years of playing, they're 15 years of playing. So just get it done. And so I just think from the standpoint of like, this is so much noise and drama. If it were to not happen, like, what do we like? Then like someone needs to be fired because hello, people have been saying he's going to get traded all over, ESPN and stuff like that. So a team I think I would like to see him on, maybe a team like New York. Maybe just if they can get a if Milwaukee can get a trade package for Cat, and some other picks, I think that'd be great. Miami, I think he'd go stupid down there, Miami with Bam. Like saying if they didn't have to move off Bam to get him, I think that'd be a stupid combo down there. Um, and probably Golden State, but because Golden State's always, they're always big game hunting, they're always fishing, so just teams like that. But yeah, I think it'll happen.
Yeah. I mean, as far as Giannis getting traded before the deadline, I think it's like 75 no, 25 yes. 25 if a team like, Miami, which actually I can't even say Miami because it's unrealistic because you know what Pat Riley is, right? Very stubborn with his trade packages. But I would say
Hmm.
a team like, Toronto steps in and they offer like RJ Barrett, Grady Dick, and, three first round draft picks. That is more intriguing, and they'd be willing to, take off like a Kyle Kuzma salary or something like that, and mix
Hmm.
around some pieces, because they'd have a team to do it. You look at Golden State. They would have to give up like a Draymond, a Jimmy Butler, a Jonathan Kaminga. Like they'd have to put together plus all these draft picks, and
Hmm.
and that's right now because they know the team that that receives him will get him for at least a year and a half, right? And so teams might not want to give Milwaukee that asking price because they're like, hey, listen, we get him for a year and a half, but he might want to dip,
All
right?
right.
Sacramento, for instance, they could offer him a pretty nice package, right? And,
Hmm.
at least make Milwaukee, DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, just guys that'll just fill the stands and have draft picks in the future just to put Milwaukee down there or just to put Giannis down there. And now, you know, Milwaukee, or not Milwaukee, Sacramento's just stuck with Giannis for a year and a half and then he's gone. So I think next summer sounds a little bit more realistic because we know that for sure he's going to go to one of his options, and the team knows that they're getting traded. It's going to be more fair value. As far as it's already tough to make it fair value for a superstar, right? Because
Yeah.
Giannis is that big time, but as fair as it can be.
This is his last year on his contract, right?
No, this is his second to last year. Next year will be his last year.
Oh, okay.
Right? So it's
Yeah.
kind of tough to like because when you have a player locked in for that many years,
Right.
it's like,
Then
hey,
you can just wait for a better pick. Okay, sorry. I thought this was his last year, so I'm also thinking, if this was his last year on his contract, Milwaukee better get something now. Like, don't just let him. So that's okay. If he still has a year left, um, I mean, I'd probably change my answer to no then. Um, but I mean, he's gone. He's gone after next year's. I mean, maybe before next year's trade deadline or after next year.
yeah.
But that's I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, and his teams of choices, they're interesting. The fact that he was willing to, reach out to Minnesota,
Yeah.
I found that, super surprising. I think the Heat were another one which again I found to be surprising, just because that was in the talks for the last 3 years now. Well, three
Yeah.
summers. I want to say about 4 years. Where Giannis was linked to Miami, never went due to Pat Riley being stubborn, right? And while Giannis was a little bit more lenient about it, like, I'm happy here. You never know. You never know. He
Hmm.
realized time is coming, especially for a player that relies on athleticism the way he does. And
Hmm.
he's on year what, 13. And he still hasn't found a consistent jump shot, from the 3 point line. Obviously, he's shooting well, but I mean he's on low volume when it comes to jump shots, right? Giannis isn't a
Hmm.
jump shooter, um, so it's just a little tough. He knows his window's closing. He doesn't know when his legs are going to give out. His back will give out. We know he's injury prone come playoff time, playoff time. So it's just a little tough when it comes to that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I could definitely, but you don't think, I know you probably do think, but, Giannis and, Bam, bro, that would be stupid, I think.
Oh,
Bro, like, who are you throwing at them? Like, I don't know. Like,
I hey, remember last pod when I talked about that Jason Terry? Hey, look, I promise. I mean, those two for sure, and they're both skilled. That's the scary
yes,
part. Like you have
yes.
Bam who can dribble, Giannis who can dribble. Those two guys
Hmm.
coming at you. Don't get me wrong, great. The problem is, I'm just thinking about how much like they'd have to give up. And so Pat Riley, he's a chess player at all times, right? So I
Yeah.
know he would make sure he's able to keep his shooters, the very few that he does have right now that are high volume. Um,
Yep.
it
Bye
would
bye,
be
Tyler
a
Hero.
yeah, no, I mean, I think they would, reconstruct the team a little bit. Tyler here would have to be gone, otherwise they, have to send Khalil Ware and some other pieces that match up the salary. But
Hmm.
they would definitely just need some shooting, right?
Yeah.
Because Bam, he's extended his game out to the 3 point line, but Giannis would have to be in the gym working on that jump shot. They would not let Giannis just, hey, you can attack the paint. No, you saw LeBron when he got to Miami from Cleveland. That 3 point shot went from like 33, I think, to he shot 41 or 40% one year, and then
Yeah.
36 the others, right? So, Giannis would develop a little bit more of a 3 point shot tendency, just like Bam, right? And
Yeah.
so that would be good, but obviously you need other guys that can shoot the ball.
I know. Yeah.
But speaking of seasons, getting to their last seasons, their contract, LeBron's his last year of the contract's this year, right? And so
Hmm.
he can either jump ship or he can stay. So I want to ask, do you think that is this LeBron's last season?
I don't think this is his last season playing. I think it's his last season in LA, unless they make it to the finals this year. And like, I think if they make it to the finals this year and lose, he'll stay in LA. But if they are just like a second, even a Western Conference Finals, exit, I think he leaves. I think then he goes and hangs it up in Cleveland. That's where I've always thought that he should end it at. To be honest with you, it'd be dope to see.
Absolutely.
They got a good young squad, so maybe they could make the most of it. But and Cleveland's kind of in need of something different. I think what they're fifth in the East right now, something like
Cleveland's
that.
fifth. Yes.
Yeah, so like not too shabby, but I mean a huge drop off from last year, which I know we talked about on last pod. So, um, but yeah, I mean, if I think if they make it to the finals, he's in LA next year. If they anything less than that, he's going back to Cleveland.
Yeah.
I don't think
No.
it's his last year playing because I think LeBron knows, like kind of like Tom Brady. Like Tom Brady he knew he was still so good that like how can I just and like retire at the top of my game, which he kind of did because his last season wasn't terrible. It wasn't like a Tom Brady esque season, but it wasn't terrible. It was like Aaron Rodgers this season, I think. But
Hmm.
like I think LeBron also has that in him. Like, I mean, if like, damn, I'm still getting 23, 7 and 7 on 50%, and like, I mean, you're just, you know what
36
I
from
mean.
three. Yeah.
But like, he's always said to his point, like, quote unquote, he's always said like, if I know I can't give the game like all I
What it
got or something,
deserves or something. Yeah.
yeah, what it deserves, then like I'm done or something, So we'll see. But I like personally, me as long as I've watched him, I don't think he's done.
Yeah. I think he's doing a great job with his PR team, leaving it to the point where we still have to talk about if it's his last season or not.
Mhm. And
You
he
know,
always does that. He always does that.
Yeah, but I mean, this season, especially like the seasons before, I never even flirted with the idea. I was just like, BS, like he's going to be back. So for me, at least, I never paid
Hmm.
any attention to it. This
Right.
season, now I'm starting to like, kind of keen in like, all right, what are the odds, right? Um, if he were to retire this season, I think it would be kind of disrespectful to himself, right? Like you said, he's not playing bad and he can still contribute. I just think he's being asked to do too much on the Lakers. I don't
He's not.
think
I mean, his season numbers are great for a 41-year-old in their 23rd season, but like
no,
for
they're
him, they're not.
phenomenal for
Yeah,
that
they're
age.
phenomenal. And
They're
then his
good for
numbers.
a 20-year-old
Yeah,
or a 25-year-old.
yeah, and then his numbers in 2026 though alone are, I mean, like insane. He's getting 27, 28, 7 and 8 on 50. Like it's even better. This like the new year, like not 2025,
No, I know what
2026.
you're talking about. No, yeah. But obviously that's not how it works. You know what I mean? Like Jordan, for instance, his last year before he, tore his little ligament, he was averaging 28, right, or
Hmm.
26 points per game, 7 and 6, right?
Hmm.
But they tore it, and then they take it the entire season, right? He only averaged 20. You know what I mean? So it's just same thing for LeBron, right? Based off his averages, though, what he's doing, it's phenomenal for his age. I just think he's getting asked to do too much for the Lakers that he simply cannot do. Right? He can give you
Right now,
offense.
because Austin Reeves is out. Like we saw when Austin Reeves was in, things were flowing. That's when they were winning consecutive
No,
games.
I'm talking about right now. What
Yeah,
he
right
is
now with
asked to
yeah,
give, he can't
yeah,
give all that and be
no,
maximized. Right? If
no,
you want to
no,
maximize what he can give, yeah, Austin Reeves can come back, and if LeBron is willing to focus more on defense, and Austin is that number two, absolutely, because you don't bring Austin back and expect Austin to be like, hey, you're our defensive anchor, right?
no,
You know
no,
what I
no.
mean? He's another threat for sure offensively, and I think he is part of the future, at least in most
Hmm.
people's eyes, as far as like if he goes to another team, hey, you're young, you can give us a lot offensively, we're gonna take advantage of this. But you know, I just think he's being asked to do too much, and I think if he were to go on to retire, as I said earlier, it'd be disrespectful to himself. He still has a lot he can give, and that's why I would love to see him play this out, go to Cleveland, and let's see how 2026-7 season goes, right?
Hmm.
Because if you're averaging on that team, let's say 18 to 23 again, uh, 7 and 6 or 7 and 7, right? I don't think the 7 and 7 is going to be something that's going to be hard for him to ever to get. It's just the scoring might change, right?
Yeah,
You go to Cleveland and let's say you don't win, but you get knocked out first, second round, maybe even third or in the Eastern Conference Finals.
hmm,
That doesn't scream retire yet, you know.
yeah,
It's just I hope that he realizes, hey, you still are box office, and even if you are falling to the number two, just like you are on the Lakers over there in Cleveland, it doesn't mean right that championship won't add to the resume, right?
yeah,
I mean, you're too big of a figure, right? And the way you impact the game is too noticeable for it to just get dismissed.
yeah.
You
Like
know?
I think he's the obviously when the Lakers are healthy with Luca, AR, and LeBron. I think LeBron's the third option, no doubt. And then, oh
No doubt.
yeah, no doubt he's the third option. I mean, Austin was averaging 30. And Luca was averaging 35, 40 to begin the season, and LeBron
But LeBron wasn't
worked
there to
back
begin the
his. I
season.
know he was injured. He came back, but like I was saying, I do think he is the third option. But I don't think he's the third best player. I think he's the second best player. I think he's still a better player than Austin Reeves.
Yeah.
Just go make Austin Reeves' life easier. Luca will take care of himself. And like, because they were winning games when Austin, like they were. I mean, the defense wasn't there. But if LeBron can, I mean, LeBron should be wanting to play defense right now. And
It's
so,
hard without Austin.
no, I know, but I'm talking about when Austin gets
Oh
back,
yeah.
let him get acclimated. Go average your 20, 21. Go get your 7 and 7, but play defense and just hit threes and like but you can still be the floor general. Like you can still like set up Austin. I know Austin is like he relies on his shot creating and driving to the rim, but like there's no world where having LeBron out there on the court can't make that easier. You know what I mean? So
No, for
like I
sure.
don't know, just embrace it. He should be wanting to play defense. Just made his 22nd straight All Star appearance, which is insanity. But yeah, I think for the keys for them to win, AR needs to be the second option.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, if he gets acclimated back into the offense and he wasn't doing what he was, and he kind of, falls off I don't want to say falls off a cliff, but like just it can't really get back to that, then yeah, maybe. Then you have LeBron. That's insurance. He can, like you're saying, be that second option if he has to, which I think he can. But I think like the key for their success, and if like for them to go as far as they can, has to be Luca, AR, and then LeBron. And LeBron just being the floor general that he is
Yeah.
to make
No.
their lives easier.
Yeah. No, I see what you're saying. But since we're talking about LeBron, right, and his, the length of his career, Derrick Rose just recently retired. It was a beautiful ceremony. He gave a nice speech, but Reggie Miller later went on, social media and let the world know Derrick Rose was next to LeBron for at least 7 to 8 years for best player in the NBA. What do you make of those thoughts?
I mean, I don't know that long, but definitely a stretch. I mean, D Rose was nothing to play with. Motherfuckers did not want to go see D Rose.
Hey, Mark, show
So
the cup, bro. I'm sorry. Show the cup. Show the cup. What are we drinking?
nothing no more, man.
I'm sorry.
But
All
I
right.
mean, I don't know about no 7, 8 years. That to me is a little. I mean, I think you could even admit that's a little reach. But that 2000 like that little 2010 to 2012 2013, yeah, I mean it was. I mean, I think everyone would say LeBron was the best player at that time and would concede to that. What Reggie is saying, that is like D Rose was right there. Hell yeah, D Rose was the youngest MVP ever. He was terrorizing the league. What was the record? And they were the number one seed in 2011, right? And it was, what was the record, 62 and 67, and
Some,
I know
yeah.
they had 60 wins, and
So
I
it'd be
mean
like,
it,
yeah, yeah.
it was box office. Like the Bulls were like back, you know what I mean? And so I could concede the like that little 2, 3, 4 year stretch, but the 7 to 8. So like in 2011, 8 years. So in 2017, you know what I mean? Like, so that was just a little reach for me. But if he would have said like 2, 3, 4, yeah, D Rose was for real.
Yeah, no, I see exactly what you're saying. I wouldn't say 7 to 8 years. I think nah, I can't even say 7 to 8 years of competitiveness, but I would say there was a total of like maybe 5, 6 years
Yeah,
of
yeah,
total
just that
competitiveness.
sounds like
As far as
yeah,
the best player, maybe 2 years, right?
exactly. You
And
know what I mean?
Derrick Rose is what is the reason why I got into basketball, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not as far as playing, but in NBA 2K, right? It was just like, man,
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't wait. I believe it was 2K9, Derrick Rose rookie year, and then boom, I'm watching him, just transcend into this bona fide star. Everybody's talking about him. I mean, I felt like the man on the world because I was like, man, my favorite player, everybody knows about him. You know what I mean? As a kid, he
And
was
he was
just,
from the city.
oh, he was from the city too. So it's just like Chicago. Or, I mean, Derrick Rose really embodied Chicago, and they were back, like you said, right?
They
It was
back.
Showtime. But as far as the 7 to 8 year thing, no, I mean, they just had a bunch of battles, right? Yeah, no, it was crazy. But the Bulls, no, I know. And that's what happens though. They're so far from the game that sometimes they speak a little too prematurely. And he's probably referencing like when the Bulls stole, that famous game winner that he hit off the glass, right, with 3 seconds. The Bulls went up, right? They were up 2-1 on the series, and that's with
Yeah.
Kyrie and LeBron.
And then what did LeBron do? He said, "I'm gonna need that back."
Yeah,
I
no,
got
he did that back. No, I
yeah,
remember
I
it.
need receipts.
No, I remember it. The push off on Jimmy, and he hit the shot. I remember it.
Did he push off?
Oh, we can replay it. Yeah, I mean, hey,
So
I
Jordan
figured.
didn't push off.
Hey, listen, huh? This was
Did Jordan? Did
this was
Jordan push
soft.
off?
Mark,
Did
we
Jordan
played.
push off?
How many games have we played against each other? Be honest. Be honest. That's not a push off,
Hold on, so LeBron pushed off, but Jordan
bro.
didn't
Off
push off.
ball. It was an off ball push off. Like, remember, he
Hey,
pushed
man.
to get open and hit the shot. But hey,
Jeez.
hey,
Hey,
it is what it
anyways,
is. It is what it is. He hit the game winner.
right,
You know what I
right.
mean? The series was
Oh
over.
God,
But
it was
you know what
over.
I mean? Here's the thing. Like, Derrick Rose was never punked, right? I mean, we've seen a lot of guys
No,
end up
that's
on the
what I'm
wrong side.
saying.
We've seen a lot of guys on the wrong side of LeBron's in the rivalry, right? But,
Hmm?
the only thing Derrick, ended up suffering is just losing. That's it. You know what I mean? He wasn't ever humiliated. He wasn't ever embarrassed, right?
Hell
He wore
no.
that on his chest to the fact of, he ended up playing with LeBron in Cleveland, right?
Hmm.
And there's a reason why he holds so much respect because, everybody remembers that famous layup, right? It's a fast break, 2-on-1, Dwayne Wade, LeBron James.
Against my
And
favorite players against your favorite player. Like
yeah,
my
exactly.
favorite player ever is Dwayne
2-on-1.
Wade.
And LeBron was up
Yeah.
for Defensive Player of the Year, right?
Should have won it. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so he did that not only against him, but also against the shooting guard with the most blocks of all time. And you're telling me he finished? So when people tell me about Kyrie Irving with the best finishing ability, I always say, hey, wait, hold on. This guy of the name Derrick Rose, who had the nicest touch I've ever seen in my life. I don't care what you
Yeah.
ever say, right? But when it comes to finishing, Derrick Rose is up there with the best of them. Okay.
Yeah,
But it,
I think people look at the Kyrie thing with
because
the
it's
best
aesthetically
finishing
pleasing. That's what
because
it
it's
is.
like it's how he gets to the rim, like with the and like Derrick Rose had a crossover too, but like
His was
how
more fundamental. It's pow pow.
yeah
Just like
yeah
AI. If you ever watched AI's, bow bow 1-2,
yeah.
he's gone.
Oh, but
Right?
D Rose was, I mean, jumping like
Oh,
like
for sure. Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
there was no gardening. But
A
like
lot of
yeah,
wisdom.
no, like I said, that 7 to 8 years that Reggie was talking about, I don't know what world that was in. And me saying 2, 3, 4 was me being nice. It was probably really like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
But like yeah, like I was always scared when the Heat played the Bulls. I mean, there was a reason when the Heat were like on a 27 game win streak. I was looking at their next game. It said Chicago. I was like, I remember being like 13. I was like, fuck, like,
Yeah.
like that this might be. And sure enough, it was. But no, I mean, those days of Bulls Heat were peak. And so I've always respected D Rose because he was from the city. He
Right.
embodied it literally. He brought the Bulls back onto the map. Um, and ever since he left, I don't think they've really been, too like, back. I mean, that 2016 season, I think if Rajon doesn't break his wrist, they beat the Celtics in that first round. I don't know if you remember that with Dwayne Wade, Jimmy
Yeah, of
Butler,
course. Yeah.
and yeah, I remember waking up one day and the news came out that Rajon had broke his thumb or something like that, and I'm like,
Of course.
because like
No.
they were playing really good basketball up until that point. But yeah, no, respect to D Rose. I would say the 2 years, but
Yeah.
7 to 8.
No, facts. Well, speaking of the Heat, right? Rich Paul actually recently did an interview with Max Kellerman, or actually not interview, but they had their podcast. And Rich Paul alluded to, LeBron was ahead of his time when he made that move to Miami, and it's the popular thing to do now. Do you agree with those statements?
To be honest with you, I don't like Rich Paul doing podcast. You know what I mean? Like that shit. I think it was like a month ago at this point. He was talking about like AR or something like that, and like, oh, the Lakers should trade AR, and LeBron had to come out and say, "I do not speak for Rich Paul." Blah blah blah. Like, bro, what are you doing on podcasts? I think who was clowning Rich Paul for or being on a podcast? It was some NBA player, ex NBA player. Austin Rivers. Austin Rivers.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Well, he was like furious that Rich Paul had a podcast, and so but to answer your question, or what was the? Sorry, I got sidetracked because I got
No,
so
you're
mad at
good.
Rich Paul.
Yeah, no. Rich Paul says LeBron's move to Miami was hated on because it was ahead of its time, and it's the popular thing to do now.
It wasn't ahead of its time. There's people going to other teams a lot of the time. It's just technology and everyone just I mean, there was cameras and there was social media. Like back in the early 2000s and 90s, people were switching up teams. It just wasn't as I would say seen as it is today. But I think it was maybe the first player at his caliber, like maybe to go off like that. But it was clear as day the Cavaliers weren't like helping him in any way. I think he just had to do what any other superstar like we went back into the earlier in this podcast. Like it's not that common that someone stays home their entire career. Like you know what I mean? Like it happens I think every like once to a superstar every 10 years. So it's not that common. But Rich Paul just needs to get off podcast, to be honest with you. I'm tired of hearing his voice.
Yeah. No, honestly, I just disagree with the whole take of he was ahead of his time, right? Like,
Yeah.
but I disagree for a different reason. Like when he says it's ahead of his time, it's like, well, Magic Johnson was drafted, right? Michael Jordan was drafted. Dennis Rodman wasn't a scoring machine; he was just a defensive rebounder, right? Let's see here. Scotty was drafted. Who else do we have? Oscar Robertson, Kareem were drafted. Let's see here. I mean, there's just Larry Bird drafted. The Celtics dynasty, for the most part, was drafted. It's just kind of hard. Now, in their era, right, Did they move from their team? Yeah, but if you look at the age of when they moved, like Karl Malone, I believe he eventually played for the Lakers, right? Played with Kobe for a year. He moved when he was like 41. You know what I mean? I mean, like, and when Shaq went to the Lakers, Kobe was nothing at that time. We're looking at other players as, the people that he's, going to team up with, right? And so it's just like we didn't see these huge moves from these major superstars. You can talk about KG and you can talk about Paul Pierce and Ray Allen. Paul Pierce being drafted, but KG coming over.
Yeah, but a
Um,
lot of those guys were in way better franchises than the Cavaliers. The Cavaliers were
no,
nothing.
no, I know, but I'm alluding to a different point, right? It's not
Mm-hmm.
about like where they're coming from. It's just the fact of when they decided to jump ship, right? Their
Mm-hmm.
peak, their prime, right? And that just wasn't as relevant as it is now, right? And I wouldn't even say it is relevant now, right? We've seen it twice, I think. I saw it with
Mm-hmm.
KD and I saw it with LeBron. I can't say I saw it with Jimmy, Paul George, uh, James Harden, you could say, but at the end, again, I mean, he was like past it. They already fixed the rule, the James Harden rule, we call it, about the tic tac fouls, right? Until
Mm-hmm.
Shea came around. But,
Yeah,
anyways, I mean, Kyrie is the only one, I mean, because he's younger than both, that was still, in his prime for sure, right?
Anthony Davis.
Anthony Davis with who, though?
Well, I mean, like he was, with New Orleans, and he was like, "Hey, New Orleans, New
But
Orleans and Cavaliers are kind of like the same
but
poverty
he
franchises." And
he went
like,
to go join LeBron. Like, we've seen that. We've
yeah,
seen two.
LeBron went to go join D Wade.
And Chris Bosh. Chris Bosh
Yeah.
was an MVP caliber player. Dwayne Wade was an MVP caliber player. They have MVP votes. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then you go to Cleveland. Kevin Love was voted in the MVP twice when he averaged 27 and he averaged 27 again. You know,
Mm-hmm.
he came in sixth for MVP and he also came in 11th for MVP. So it's just like that move we haven't seen much in the past. That's why it's so hated on nowadays because it was not popular at their peaks. LeBron's second stint back in Cleveland would have been less hated on, or was less hated on, right? Compared to the Miami. Why do you think that was because LeBron was at his peak still. It's like, man, like, yeah, you're giving them their time, but like, this is what we're accustomed to. Superstars staying until they do hit, 31, 32. And then it's like, then jump, right? Because you gave him 13 years. You gave him 11 years. You know what I mean? Your career's almost over. Go win a chip, right? And
Yeah.
so I don't think it's pop.
For me, that threshold has always been like 7, 8 years though, because I think that's when superstars like start winning their first championships.
Yeah,
Like Michael, Giannis, LeBron, I think was 28. I think that like that 28-year-old mark is when, like, okay, like if you don't think, you're gonna win one here, then
jump
go
ship.
ahead and jump ship.
No, I see what you're saying, but again, it's just why the move was hated on, right? I mean, because unlike back then, right? Yes, they didn't have social media, but what they did is they had small news sections, right, where they would only cover things that would get people talking, and people would
Mhm.
uproar a lot easier. Right now, we just uproar through social media. Back then, they would actually get out there. They would actually protest. They would do interviews, street interviews. We don't see
Mhm.
that. We haven't seen that since Luka Doncic, and then
Right.
before that, it was LeBron James. you know so it's just it's not a big uproar, or it's not a popular thing nowadays in my opinion. And I mean, who knows if it will be a trend in the future. But if you look at Giannis's move won't cause an uproar. I'm calling it now because he gave so much time to Milwaukee. He gave so
Mhm.
much time. That's the difference. LeBron was at peak basketball. In my opinion, he was in his perfect form his second stint. I mean, it's just like Super Saiyan 2 or Naruto
Yeah.
Hokage. Like that man was perfect his second
Yeah. I
stint,
mean,
stint in Cleveland.
2018 Braun
And
was.
LeBron even did an interview where he was asked, "Hey, what was your best version of yourself where you felt the
Yeah,
most completed?"
he said 2018.
Which I've been saying for the longest.
No,
That was his best
2018
version.
LeBron is the best version of LeBron there will ever be on
Yeah.
this planet.
You
Like I know
know,
Miami LeBron was shooting really well percentage wise, but
but as
what
far
LeBron
as
did that playoff,
attacking
what he did
killer,
that playoff run,
talking.
bro, no other teammate scored more than 19 points the whole postseason.
Yep.
Insane,
Yeah. No,
insane,
no, for
insane.
sure. Well, we've been talking about Bron, so I thought I'd bring Bronny in the mix. Given Bronny's career so far, has he proven to be a part of an NBA roster?
Um,
I mean, we've seen the dunks. We've seen the
Yeah,
first father and son duo to hit a layup and a dunk together in a game. What do you
yeah.
make of that?
No, I think it just needs maybe a little more time in the G League, but you can definitely see the progress. I don't think anyone could argue that. You can definitely see progress in his game. I just don't think he's a top 15 player on an NBA roster right now. But that's not surprising. He was the 50th pick or something like that. So like for me, if that sounds crazy to other people, I don't see how it can. Like there isn't, a standard for him yet. You know what I mean? Or like so yeah, I just think he needs a little bit more time in the G League, a little more development, but you can definitely see the progress.
Yeah. No, the his pick should have been cut. Like, I mean, when if you look at other players that have been drafted at his actually even before him, right? Anywhere in the second round, they're not on a roster the following year, right? Or max 2
Yeah.
years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Draymond's are rare exceptions. Isaiah Thomas's are rare exceptions. You know what I mean? Even
Hmm.
pick 30 can begin to be like that's where you see a drop off, as
Hmm.
far as them staying on a team. So does he belong on an NBA roster still? No. I mean, I see him as a Zaire Wade. Not to say I don't see the progress because it's clear as day that boy can hoop.
Hmm.
But we're talking about the NBA where like the best 15 guys. I don't
Yeah.
think I don't think he's one of the best 15 guys. I think
No.
maybe he can get there, but like again, I mean, it's okay. Guess what? You know, what's his name from OKC, the center, Isaiah Hartenstein. He
Hmm.
was in the G League. You know,
Yeah.
he had to earn his stripes and then come back. It
Like I
happens.
don't think he's better than Drew Timmy.
No.
Like you know what I mean? And Drew Timmy, like I think Drew Timmy is a person that if we were asking this question about him, I would have my answer changed. I'd be like, yes, I do think he's, a top 15 player on anyone's roster. But like just as far as Bronny, no, and it's not that crazy to say, but like you said, there's definitely been progress and he can hoop.
Yeah, I mean he can hoop. It's just again, I just don't think he's one of the top 15 guys, and
Yeah.
I just see, hey, not to say it hurts my feelings, like, hey, this roster spot belong. I'm not gonna sit here and preach that, but what I'm saying is, let's give your flowers, appreciate, yeah, the father son duo, but I'm kind of done with the marketing. I don't like the way that the NBA is getting played right now, and so little things like this to me doesn't draw me to the game. Like I'm sorry, like just for 4 minutes of seeing Bronny, just to post a clip later saying first father son duo, isn't intriguing to me. Now if Bronny came out and like they actually wanted to play him 30 minutes a night, I would watch that. I'm genuinely being honest. I would watch it
Yeah.
because who doesn't want to see that, right?
Yeah.
It's like let's see what actually they can do.
Hmm.
But that's just my take on it. Not to hate on Bronny or anything like that, but
No.
guys like Zaire Wade, and his teammate from high school, Amari Bailey,
Oh yeah.
they're trying to get back into college. What do you think about NBA players going back to college?
Um, I mean, is that a good sign? You know what I mean? Like, could NBA execs be like, "Oh crap! Like this player had to go back to college and then figure it out," or because like that's not how it has ever worked. So I would say no. Um, maybe yeah, no, I mean maybe for educational purposes, but as far as playing basketball, I don't see how that would be good for anybody or anything. Just because then you would have old heads saying like, "Oh, well, we weren't able to do that," and no, this player, you know what I mean? So just stay away from that. But and yeah, I just don't think it'd be a good look for the player trying to get drafted again. Like oh, he had to go back to college. So I don't know. What about you?
Stop the disgusting work. I dislike it 100%. I mean, it's just gross. It's kind of like, Woj. I mean, obviously we miss him dearly on what he used to do, right? I mean,
Yeah.
he used the Woj bombs. We used to look forward to that. But he's recruiting these 30-year-olds to come play with him. You know what I mean? And what that does is it takes advantage of these young guys who really do have potential. So now you're going to bring in a Marley Bailey who's been battle tested with these grown adults, learning all these skills. And yes, if and truthfully, I mean, it's disgusting work because if they come in there and they don't have a better season than Trey Young did when he was at Oklahoma, who was a dog,
Yeah.
25, 14, 10, like just stupid numbers.
Hmm.
If they don't come in and have a season like that, You went to college for no reason. Hey, I hope you're going
Right.
to, I hope you're going to medical school. I hope you are. I hope that's the reason why you went back to college. Because it's not to go back to the league. I promise you it's not. If you don't average
Yeah.
some ridiculous, James Harden in his prime, Michael Jordan in his prime, LeBron numbers in his prime, then what are you doing? Because I promise you, I
It
wouldn't
should
want you back on my roster.
no. It
But
should
you
only be
better have
allowed
some
for
Buddy Hield senior year numbers if you're trying to get back in the NBA, right?
yeah. Like you better make sure you about to go over there and hoop. Like
Yes.
oh, because then if you don't, well now you're just now kids younger than you are just balling, and it's just not a good
Like
look.
what
Like
you
it
go
should
ahead.
only be allowed like how it is now. Like if a player is eligible for the draft, but I just want to stay. That's fine. You know what I mean? Because you're already there. You know what I mean? Go get your education, go get your numbers in that college. That university you're playing for. Like if you're already there, cool, and you're eligible, you don't want to do the draft. By all means, stay. But like to go back, what do we don't have time machines.
Yeah, and then they come back with a chip on their shoulder. I mean, don't get me wrong. Hey, maybe that might help produce the best talent coming out of college, right? For these guys to do it. That's the
Then
only
you should have
advantage I
stayed in college.
that's the only thing I can see is just like these young guys that end up coming to the school, right? And let's say Amari Bailey, we're just going to take his name for instance, and bring him back to college. Well, that young cat will now know he has to work even harder because this guy's been in the league. So, it could help the talent, increase, right? And
Yeah.
what we see coming out. But at the same time, it's just like, it's the slower developments. I appreciate the guys like Grayson Allen's who, when they stayed there 4 years, they come into the league, they're
Yeah.
proficient at a lot of things, They're good at posting up. They're good at rebounding. They're good at boxing out. They're good at, dribbling with their left hand, right hand, finishing, touch off the glass, shooting ability, catch and shoot. All these little things, the fundamentals, so, there's some pros and cons to it. I'm not in favor of, allowing, anybody who's touched the NBA gym as far as like, hey, you signed a contract or you're on a two-way contract, G League, anything like that to go to school, I'm not for it unless you're just studying, like I said.
Right. Yeah, facts. I'm on the same boat.
But before we go, I do want to touch on the All-Star reserves. I did send you a photo on it. On
Yeah.
what you thought. Do you think there was any snubs? Because I think there's a few
Um
coming out of the East and
yeah,
West.
I do think there's a few snubs as well. I mean, I think Anthony, like to talk about the list that, the reserves and starters, I think Anthony Edwards definitely should have been ahead of Steph Curry. Um, and then I think Devin Booker is a little, I think someone could have definitely been in place for D Book, and I'll let you get to
I
that.
swayed Mark over. Thank you.
Um, I do like the Chet Holmgren respect though. Kid's been playing some good ball
I know we're
recently.
we're both very high on Chet.
Yeah, I'm higher on Chet than I am Jalen Williams. So, I don't know if that's a bold statement or not. I think me and you both said that on last pod, but Jamal Murray. I know last pod I'd say I took Jamal Murray over Devin Booker. We both said they're in the same tier. But again, that doesn't mean that I think he was an all star. But I do like the starters. I think I would have swapped Steph Curry and Anthony Edwards to be honest. But I'll let you go over the snubs because I know you're excited to get to them.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know we both probably have the same snubs.
Yeah. If we look at the East, I like Pascal Siakam a lot, and
Mhm.
I totally love it that he made it. Where's Bam? You
Yeah,
know, Bam
yeah,
has a better record. Bam means more to the team. Don't get me wrong. Norman Powell, you want to make it, that's fine, but Bam is their guy. Bam represents the Miami Heat.
yeah.
Bam needs to be there.
Sorry,
Okay?
I thought we were gonna do West, and then you were gonna say your West, and I'd go
I'm
to the
sorry.
East. But
Oh,
I'll go
yeah.
to the East. No, I'll go to the
Okay,
East. I'll
okay,
go to
for
the East
sure.
later
Yeah,
for
no,
you.
I'm touching on it all. I'm
No, I
looking
feel
at,
you because where's Bam? Where the
yeah,
fuck is
where's Bam? I'm sorry. Like, that one blew me. I'm also looking at Scotty Barnes. I love that he's in. But, Jalen Duren belongs in there for sure. I like him as well. I
hmm
probably would maybe move around either Cat or, geez, maybe, I guess you could say Norman Powell as well. Um, just for, maybe Brandon Ingram, because Toronto's playing good ball. They are playing at the 4th seed right now. So, I mean, that goes to show, Scotty, while he's taking a huge jump, Brandon Ingram's still their leading scorer. You know what I mean? And so
Hmm.
I think even if they doubled up on 2 Miami Heat players, 2 Toronto players, 2 Detroit players, that's fine. Because Jalen Johnson is having a good year, right?
Yeah.
But um, it's okay to be like, hey, these teams just simply are playing better. Boston
Yeah.
Celtics, right? Like, if you wanted to throw in another Boston Celtic player, I wouldn't be mad at it, right? Or
No.
Tyrese Maxey. Hey, Joel Embiid, he's been hooping, right? He
Yeah.
came back. He has, right?
Yeah.
Where is he? And as far as the West goes, Devin Booker, Chet Holmgren, and Jamal Murray's, they're my question mark. Let's not
Hmm.
forget Kawhi Leonard and James Harden have going on a tear these last 20 games. They're like 15 and what, 5? You know?
Yeah.
And
No, I definitely would have put Kawhi Leonard over Jamal Murray.
yeah, and they're only a few games back behind Devin Booker or then Danny Avdia, who's
Yeah.
question mark for me. Danny, while he's putting up 25, 8 and 6, I believe, you know,
Hmm.
it's just like cool, but you're only one game ahead of the Clippers who've been playing with part-time Kawhi, you know? And
Yeah.
now, he's back to full-time. And so like you're having this tremendous year, cool, but you still aren't a good team. So like the All-Star reserves, I believe, are picked by what? The coaching and players, I
Which,
believe.
yeah.
And so it's just like I was really questioning like where Danny, Devin, and Jamal have came from. I mean, Chet is like a major question mark. So I would have liked to include Kawhi and James just because simply they've been playing well. They didn't have a full team. Even if you didn't want to vote both Kawhi and James, then where's Ivan Zubac? Because he's been playing his butt off,
Oh,
and
the Clippers center.
yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
he's been balling.
he's been playing his butt off. So these are guys that I would have personally liked to see welcome in to maybe their first All Star. And there's some other names within
What about that?
the
What
league
about
in
that guy?
general.
What about that guy in Houston? Second fiddle to KD, or maybe even first fiddle. What's his name?
Alfred Sengun, Sengun,
Yeah.
yeah, like Senguini. I mean, he didn't like that nickname, but he should have been.
Say
Hey,
really?
he should have been in there as well. I
No, he
mean,
should have definitely been
you
in
know what I
there.
mean? You're looking at him. I mean, even if you want, you could look at Amen Thompson, who's averaging 19, like 6 and 4. You
That's
know,
that's
the
brother
Thompson
on
brothers. You know
brother
what I
on
mean?
Detroit,
Yeah,
or not
it's
Detroit
just
Rockets, the Rockets one.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like Devin Booker. I'll give it to him. I had to fact check myself because he has been playing in more games than I assumed. I thought he's been injured a little too often. But you
Hmm.
could argue that Dylan Brooks has been right there with him. Battling. So, but obviously I'd give it to the better player. Which is Devin Booker. But
Yeah.
Danny, Chet, and Jamal are my three major ones. Devin is just a little bit of a question mark to me.
Yeah, I just don't get how Nikola missed all those games and he's a starter, which he should be a starter. He's
No,
the
yeah.
one of the best top
Well,
three
yeah,
players in the
that's
NBA.
Mark. That's because it's a
But
popular vote.
I know, but then Kawhi Leonard, bro, he been hooping. Kawhi Leonard been hooping, and
27 right now.
he's not even on the reserves.
I
Like
know.
Jamal Murray,
Bro, James Harden, did you see his
he
stats
look.
this year though?
Yeah,
I mean,
James Harden, he's playing
bro,
good ball.
like 26, 8 and something? Like, bro, and I mean, I'll get it. Like the field goal percentage 41%, so like I said, a little bit lower than what I want. I want 45, but go ahead.
Yeah, and then you remember when they did that, like, and I love D Wade, he's my favorite player. But remember when they did that weird thing where they just put them in the All Star game their
They should have done
last
the same
year?
thing for LeBron.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but we knew that was their last years. I think that's why it's like this, and like
Yeah.
LeBron's not starting, so that's why I do think LeBron will actually announce his retirement before his last year. But going back to that point, like, I mean, what then? Like, bro, James Harden's playing better basketball than Jamal Murray right now. Like, Kawhi
Exactly.
Leonard's playing better basketball than Jamal Murray right now. Kawhi Leonard's playing better basketball than Devin Booker right now. Devin Booker and James Harden probably about the same, but like, I don't
No,
know.
look at their stats.
Then James Harden's playing better basketball. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I mean,
It
it's
is what it is.
crazy. And I mean, the East, like I said, the one big problem I have is definitely the Norman Powell and Bam. I mean, bro, that's a huge slap in the face to
Norman
Bam.
Powell's first All Star, by the way, just to let you know.
I mean, bro, what? Like, he is a good player, like no doubt, like good player. But like, I've never seen Norman Powell as an All Star, and
Take
like,
off Donovan Mitchell then.
you know what I mean? Like,
Go to fifth. There's got to be consequences.
yeah, I mean, It's yeah, but I mean, Bam's the biggest one on the East for me. But yeah.
No, absolutely. Well, Mark, that concludes episode number 5. Let's go, man. Super excited that everybody tuned in. There's going to be some clips out. We got more takes next week. We got the Super Bowl. NBA All-Star Game is right around the corner as well now. So super excited. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you guys next time.